Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review of Married at First Sight Season 14, Episode 7, called This Is My Decision Day. Yes, Chris, thank you, Lord. I don't have to see you or Alyssa on her lips. Next episode, hopefully, everything that I said is done. Okay, lots to unpack here, not really. But we're going to start off with everybody to head on back to Boston. So, no more San Juan, Puerto Rico. Okay, so everybody gets to their new apartment. It's nice. Everybody's settling in. Don't really care for what Lindsay and Mark talking about. They just laughing and giggling in the bed, so that's cute or whatever. Moving on to Katina and Elijah one. And they looking through the drawers in the kitchen, so they see some pots and pans and some cooking utensils and whatnot. So Elijah one, of course, starts hinting to Katina, like, listen, girl, you're going to have to start cooking or something. You know, I can't wait to see what you work up in the kitchen and whatnot. And Katina lets us know in the confessional that she's used to going out to eat. So she don't really be doing that much cooking in the house. So there's a lot of pressure on her. And I'm just like, girl, you just need to put your foot down and let him know, nigga, I might cook sometimes, but I ain't cooking here every fucking day of the whole damn week. Cause he's sitting at the island and whatnot, just looking at her like I feel like he's already envisioning her cooking, like he just gonna be sitting on the island just watching her cook and stuff. Maybe so, maybe certain occasions, yes, Elijah one. But it's one thing if I want to do it because I want to, and another thing that I'm doing it because you are requiring me to do it. That's a whole different ball game. But we're gonna discuss that, I guess, later on when they sit down with Pastor Cal. We move on to Steve and Noi, and they're settling into their apartment, and I guess Steve makes mention of getting a little side bed for Noi's dog, but Noi's letting him know, like, no, he gonna sleep on the bed with us. Probably, I don't know if it's a he or she of the dog, so I apologize for that in advance. But the dog, Noi's saying the dog gonna be sleeping on her pillow, probably in between them or something. Steve is kind of looking like, I don't know about all that, but we could get a side bed. And Noi's like, no. So for that, we're going to discuss later on in the episode because Noi seems like she got a lot of, it has to be my way or the highway. And I'm not really feeling that too much. But we're going to move on to Chris. He moving into the apartment by himself. So it's Chris's apartment. I know Chris and Alyssa, like they wanted to put in the little caption. No, it's Chris, because Alyssa didn't move in there not once. Didn't even sleep in the apartment, so it ain't her apartment, even though she got a set of keys. Understandably so. But it ain't her apartment, it's Chris. He talking about he's gonna let her take the lead, because if he try to take the lead, she ain't having it, so he gonna let her take the lead and see what happens. And I'm like, why are we letting any lead be taken? No, Chris, just go. You shouldn't have even moved into the apartment. Did the honeymoon not tell you anything, Chris? Why are we still trying here? Why? For what? But I'm gonna give you kudos at the end of the episode. But in this moment, I'm like, Chris, what are we doing here? But why? It's episode 7, for goodness sakes. Not to you. It's probably I don't remember what they said. 8, 9, something. Chris, come on, bro. Come on, Dad. She haven't slept in the same place as you, other than like the same hotel, but not the hotel room. And not even moving in the park. Like, Chris, let it, bro, enough. But we're gonna move on. We'll get back to him later. Jasmina and Michael, they were settling in, and Jasmina was asking Michael if he's gonna be sleeping in the apartment. He said, yeah, of course. He didn't say that word for word, I'm just paraphrasing. But she's just like, oh, her dog, Feeny, she needs to figure out a new daycare for her dog. So she's gonna go home to figure that out. And Michael's just like, he doesn't really like that and support that idea because they're a married couple, so they should sleep in the same house. He doesn't want it to be like if something happens or a disagreement happens that he stays here and then the other person goes to another place. He doesn't like that, you know. A marriage is a unit, so we should all be sleeping under the same type of roof. So Jasmina was like, well, she's not going home because of their marriage, just to figure out a daycare for her dog. But also, the distance will also be good for them. I'm like, Jasmina, you're total BS. You're using your dog as an excuse because, like everybody said on Twitter, like my husband done said also, why can't the dog just sleep in the apartment? And why can't she just figure that out while she's in the apartment? I'm pretty sure the apartment got 2 bedrooms. So if she really not feeling Michael like that right now, she could go to the other bedroom, or she could be in the main bedroom. He could go to the other bedroom, and I'm pretty sure he would feel better with that too. So, but whatever, she going to go figure out her little doggy daycare issues at her own place. So, also, side note, before I move on, side note, I guess a lot of places in Boston still have like wall units for the AC, because my husband made mention of, man, she want to go back to her place. She got a wall unit, and in the apartment that Mass got for her, ain't no wall units, bitch. Central AC up in there, bitch. But it is her place, so she comfortable. But still, I don't know. I've seen someone else's house have a wall unit, so I guess that's maybe common in Boston. I don't know. I've never been to Boston, so I wouldn't know. But we're gonna move on. So the couples wake up the next morning. Mark and Lindsay, they're brushing their teeth together. He's brushing his teeth aggressively so Lindsay can see where he got the name Mark the Shark. We move on to Steve and Noy. Steve goes to Noy's apartment. Noy has like 3 different type of beds for her dog, and Steve meets Noy's dog and asks Noy like, is he potty trained? Noy says yes. So Steve is happy with that, because he explains to us that he gets, kind of nauseous picking up dog's poop. But Noy's like, well, he's still gonna poop. He's a dog. He's still gonna do what he gotta do. And Steve is kind of like, okay, I understand that, but at least, he won't pee or poop in the house. So what you saying, you want Noy to just take him out then, Steve? Like, are you opposed to dogs? Do you not like animals? Like, I don't understand what the issue is really here. Listen, at first, before I got a dog, I wasn't too keen on picking up a dog shit either. I'll be honest with you. Like, dogs are cute and cuddly and nice to play with, but when you gotta go take them out to peeing, is cool because I don't gotta pick that up. But pooping, yeah, it can. I was kind of like, I don't know how I felt about picking up some shit, but when you do it every day for weeks on end, it just kind of like, at this point, it is what it is. I had a puppy. I guess he's still considered a puppy for the most part, but his poop is becoming solid now, so it's easier to pick up. Because when he was a baby, it was hard to pick. I had to pull up okay. Anyway, I'm getting too graphic. So we move on. Steve was asking, is she going to take a bed with them to the new apartment that they're sleeping at for the next 2 months, so at least he has his own little bed there. But no, it's like, no, because the dog won't sleep in the bed with us. Okay, no, so it's literally your way or the highway. We're going to move on to Lindsay and Mark. So they go to his place in hazmat suits to clean up his apartment, because, his apartment got bed bugs and whatnot. And I'm looking at Mark's apartment or place. He got a lot of Steve Jobs quotes on the wall. And I'm just like, now you may not be what Lindsay was talking about, of the home goods type of mom with all the little poster boards and stuff, but you got a lot of stuff from Wish or something with the little writing. Not even Mark. I don't know. I guess because I'm a person that likes uniformity, organization, and for stuff to flow. And I feel like his house doesn't flow. The signs are nice, I guess, if that's his style, but I just feel like I don't really. Okay. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. But they start cleaning out his place, and Lindsay is pretty much like, if this doesn't have a sentimental value to you, and throw it away. So while Mark appreciates that she's helping him clean out his place, he wasn't too keen on her just throwing everything away and knocking things over that he didn't want knocked over. And I'm like, Mark, are you kind of a hoarder? Granted, I understand you probably would rather do it yourself because you know what you would want to keep and not want to keep, but at the same time, you did have bed bugs in your whole place, so who knows what's contaminated in your space. And I hope y'all disinfected all that before you would even bring it to the apartment you guys are staying after 2 months, and before you bring it to Lindsay's studio, which we'll talk about in a minute. So it's just all about communication. I feel like if Mark would have told her, like, what he's telling us in the confessional, she probably still wouldn't understand. But at least they can have a discussion about it to the point she could like let him know, listen, dog, you got bed bugs. That thing contagious. It could go from house to house, literally. So if you don't need it, you should probably throw it away just to be safe rather than sorry. But we're going to move on to Katina. She visits Elijah's house, and Elijah's already talking about having kids and stuff before they even walk in. So he's asking her, what does she think? Because he said he's nervous if she's going to like it or not. So she goes in, she sees it, and she's just kind of like, ooh, I don't like this little drapery you got here over the windows with the coffee stuff. And he's like, oh, but I make the best coffee in the world, girl. She's like, yeah, but you don't need to have it presented on your drapery. Then they go to his gym. He's like, oh, you ready to see the gym? She's like, yeah, sure. So they go down. He shows her the gym. So she likes the setup, but she doesn't like the color of the walls, which was green. So I guess he asked her on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate my house? She's like, I'll give you like an 8, probably for maybe the layout of the house, but maybe a 5 for the decor. So he feeling some type of way about it. But at the end of the day, listen, guys don't really know how to decorate their stuff. And I like how all these females, because we'll get to know in a second, judging their new husbands' places. But listen, they're living by themselves. They don't really care about that shit like we do. They really don't. Some of them do. Granted, look at Johnny's ass from last season. His place was very nice. I'll give him that. But some guys, they just, listen, they just, look, this is my place. You know, I might got a few things here and there, that's it. You know, sometimes a place needs a woman's touch. So not that you guys are married, if you guys decide to move into Elijah's place after the 2 months, Katina, you know you could make it into a nice, lovely home for the both of you. But we're going to move on to Mark. He goes to see Lindsay's house. And it was kind of colorful and just full of Lindsay. Like Mark said, he's not lying. You could tell that's Lindsay's place. And she's kind of weird with it a little bit because she introduces Mark to her plans. Each plan got a different name. Even one of them is named Lindsay. And she talks to it. Mark is looking at her like so scared, like what is going on here? And Lindsay says she bring her little squatty potty to the apartment and shit. And by now we should all know what a squatty potty is. And, you know, to each their own. That's Lindsay stuff. So she gonna do what she do. And she got a tiny ass stove. And pretty much it looks like it's a studio. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Ruben was just laughing the whole time because Mark's face is just looking terrified. And Mark is just making fun of her apartment. But Lindsay did say in a confessional, she's like, I don't know why Mark making fun of my apartment. He can't say nothing because we just cleaned up his house and he has bed bugs and stuff in a dilapidated apartment. So he can't say shit about her apartment. I'm like, Lindsay, you know what? You right, girl. You right. He can't say shit because at the end of the day, you ain't evicted from your place. You don't got no bed bugs in your house. He do. So you right. I can't say you right. You right. So Mark says something about it's not going to work out in the confessional. And I'm just like, well, we'll see, Mark, because where are you going to go after this? So we're going to move on to Noy. She visiting Steve's place. And low-key, high-key, I'm like, oh, Steve got a place. He not living with his brother or his peoples? Like, this is Steve's place. Like, Steve pay for this every month? For real? Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Once again, he's a guy, so what do you expect? Noise talking about Steve's place is definitely a man's home. Girl, Steve is the guy. I don't understand what you were trying to, like, what we're supposed to do with this information that you just said. Like, what we're supposed to do with that sentence. Steve's the guy. It's his place. He gonna decorate the way he wants. Like, I don't, like, let's stop making a big deal the way some people's houses look. It's their house. They're going to decorate the way they want to. If you guys moving together, hey, then you guys will compromise to make it a house that you guys like together, hopefully. If you guys can know how to communicate and compromise, which a lot of people nowadays do not know how to do. But I digress. So he shows her all his LED lights here. Now, it would have been nice, Steve. But why you got the LED lights like right here instead of all the way in the top corner? Now, he might have high ceilings, so he might not be able to reach up there. But I'm short, and I was able to reach on a two-step ladder, of course. But I was able to reach up here to put the lights on the top corner. You tall. I can tell that. You tall, Steve. What's your excuse? Especially with a little 2-3 step ladder. What's your excuse? So I didn't like that it was here. It should have probably been here, but I can't say nothing. That's his apartment. That's the way he wants it. That's it. Whatever. So he's showing her all the LED lights like a little nerd schoolboy. Nora's like, do you have this like everywhere? And he's like, yeah. Brings her to the room. They sit on the bed. He just showing her it turns blue, this color. Look what the light does. The light be moving from this side to this side. All that. And she's just like, I hope he doesn't bring this to her new place. Because she literally said she doesn't want him to bring the lights to her new place. To my new place. And I'm just like, are we talking about the apartment that Lifetime got you guys for 2 months? Because if we are, it's not your apartment, no. It's both of y'all's apartment. Okay? It's not me. It's not I. It's we, girl. Start getting that in your head. It's not about what you want. Because I've seen that for this episode. It's all about what Noi wants. Nothing about what Steve wants. So Steve asks if they should just bring the lights that he has in his place to their apartment, or should they just buy new lights to put in the apartment? And I'm just like, y'all staying there for like 2 months. Do we need to really be doing all that decorating? You're gonna be out in less than 60 days, bro. It's not even a full 2 months because you was in San Juan, Puerto Rico for a week. What do you need? You don't need to bring the lights, Steve. If anything, I mean, I know there's stickers. You could just rip them off. You only there for 2 months, we don't need to be doing all that. Now, if you want to talk about moving forward after the 2 months, if you guys get a place together, then by all means, figure out how you're gonna do lights or whatever. But in the apartment Lifetime, you don't need to be worrying about that right now, Steve. Please. But Noi gives a look because she don't want it. But I'm just like, Noi, at this point, like, you telling him the dog won't be on the bed regardless if he like it or not. So let the man have some type of light. It may not be this type of light in the apartment for 2 months, but you can get the little circle-y light that changes colors, put it somewhere in the house. Noi, you gotta learn how to compromise. Steve, kind of, you too, kind of, sort of. But mainly, Noi, it's not your way or the highway, because if that's the case, you need to get married to yourself, get a sperm donor to give you three shots so you can get pregnant 3 times and have those babies by yourself and just be a single mom with 3 kids. But we're going to get to that later. We move on to Jasmina visiting Michael's place. And Jasmina confesses to us in the confessional that she really needed time away from Mike to reset, and that's why she didn't sleep in the apartment. And in my head, I'm like, girl, we know you ain't telling us nothing new, but thank you for confirming what we already knew. I don't know why you need to do all that. I don't know where you got in your head. I'm so tired of all these people from not even this season, but previous season. Well, technically, Jasmina was the only one who reset it, really, because Alyssa that's a whole different thing going on. But I'm tired of so many people from this season and past seasons talking about, oh, I need to go home to reset. No, the fuck you don't. You knew what you signed up for, so stick it out and figure the shit out. And if you don't want to be in a relationship, just dead that shit. Because I'm tired of y'all talking about, oh, I need to go home and I need to reset. Knowing there's 2 damn bedrooms in the damn apartment that you could probably reset in the other room. Not go home and think about a daycare for your damn dog. Now, Feeney's cute. Don't get me wrong, Jasmine. Your dog cute. But at the same time, don't bring the dog into this. It's not the dog situation. It's you figuring out if you want to still be with this man or not. So she looking through his house. She's like, what she said. She said his place is definitely a frat boy's place. And once again, it's a guy. Like, not all of them know how to really decorate. Females don't really know how to decorate. Some of them don't. Some of y'all places be looking very mass suspect. But It's the guy. They don't care about shit like we do. Okay. I may want things so perfectly aligned like this. I have OCD. A guy, you see Steve put his thing there. Listen, Michael don't care about that shit. Why are we judging? I may be like, that's not how I would do it, but I can't say shit because it's not my house. So they talking. I guess she's helping him pack to bring some stuff to the apartment and whatnot. And Michael says he got two roommates, and then I guess one of them came out and went to the bathroom, or came from the bathroom and went to their room. Coming to find out, it's a female. And Jasmina's feeling some type of way that he hasn't mentioned it. And he doesn't seem fazed at the fact that he didn't mention it. But to me, I would understand why some people are kind of looking at Jasmina like, oh my gosh, she's making a big deal out of this. But in this scenario, I will kind of understand where Jasmina is coming from. Because when they rewind it back to a day ago, not a day, I don't know if it was that same day of this scene, but just a moment ago, at their last scene together, they were talking about roommates and all that stuff. Jasmina said she has lived with a guy before. Her current roommate is a guy. Then she asked Michael, have you ever lived with women before? He said no. So the fact that she's seeing a woman as a roommate, she's feeling like, why the hell would you lie about something like that? And I'm kind of like, yeah, why the hell would you lie about something like that? Like, if you would have been upfront, then that would be one thing. But you not, like, I'm just kind of like, he doesn't understand why she kind of looking at him sideways. But I understand. My husband understand. We're going to get to it in a moment later. Move on to Mark and Lindsay. Mark a little nervous about him and Lindsay's cats meeting up. Because I guess Lindsay's cats meow and hiss. And his cats don't. It seemed like when they met each other, when the cats met, it seemed like it went okay for the most part. But okay, Mark, calm down. Moving on to Michael, back to Michael and Jasmina. Come to find out, Michael got two roommates, right? He already mentioned he got two roommates, but come to find out, both of those roommates are females. So now Jasmina is upset because they just had a conversation the day before about that. He didn't say nothing. So I guess Michael agrees that he should have told her. He should have just been upfront with her. But it doesn't matter. Like, why does it matter that I have two female roommates? Michael, it's not the fact that you have two female roommates. It's just the fact that she blatantly asked if you had ever lived with a female before and you are currently living with a female too, and you said no. Like, it's just simple stuff because probably in her mind, even though I feel like she harbors too much on a lot of things, it's kind of just like, if you could lie about simple shit like this, who knows what big shit you could lie about. So he doesn't see that. I think on Twitter someone was like, maybe he thought she was asking in the manner of, oh, have I lived with a female that I've dated? No. Listen, the question was very to the point. Have you ever lived with any female? Now, if he felt like she was saying that in that moment, he should have expressed, like, listen, I thought you were talking about in regards to me dating them. Have I lived with them? Even though she probably would have called BS on that too. But he didn't even say that either. So, no. Michael. Just be like, come on. The fact that you even... All right. I don't got time for the BS. Okay, Mike? You lied. You shouldn't have lied. You should have apologized. You shouldn't have said, what does it matter? Jasmina, you should have expressed that, listen, it's the principle that you lied. It's not the fact that you have two females. It's the fact that you just lied about it. I can't with these people, man. It's only episode 7. But then again, that's actually almost the middle of the season, actually. All right. We move on to Mark. Oh, gosh. Lindsay tells us that Mark's grandma's not doing too well. She's gotten to 70 pounds, and Mark is so stressed, and he's seeming like he's about to explode, and he's so different off camera than he is on camera, and it's driving her insane. So I guess we're going to see them later on discuss that a little bit. Chris goes plays disc golf, what he loves to do with his best friend, sits down with his best friend to explain what's been going on with him and Alyssa. Chris's friend ain't really trying to hear that BS and thinks this is like ridiculous and that Alyssa's ridiculous and that she needs to go be with a veteran who got an ego tattoo somewhere, some way, somehow. And I'm like, yes, you better tell Chris that shit. And hopefully Chris takes your advice since he wants to ignore literally everybody else's advice of him leaving her ass. We get on to Alyssa and her lips having lunch with her mama. And Alyssa says she blacked out for the wedding and because when she seen Chris, he wasn't who she envisioned. Of course not. We already established this since episode 1 or probably 3 of when they got married. So that ain't nothing new, Alyssa. But the mom was just like, he's cute. He's a great guy. He's so nice. And Alyssa was just like, Mom, no. He's not nice. Like, do you not know how the way he treats me? And the mom's like, I know, Alyssa. I know. Just calm down. Please don't get so turned out in front of the cameras, Alyssa. We don't need this right now for our family. Okay, our family has values. So, Alyssa, I feel like Alyssa just says off the wall shit to try to exaggerate it so much to the point of having us be on her, because she wants us on her side so bad, but says absurd ass shit to make us be more against her side than on her side. She lets us know that they just have different core values. She's seen he posted on his Instagram to defund the police, and it's disturbing to her because police do such a great job. Like, who are you gonna call when you need help? You need 911. You need the police. I'm like, girl, the way you talking, do you have a red hat, Alyssa? Do you have a hat that says MAGA? Do you have a hat that actually has the words that go with that abbreviation, Alyssa? Were you in Washington, D.C. on January 6th of 2021? Were you at any of the rallies of DJT? Does your political party begins with the letter R? And if that's the case, that's fine, Alyssa, because you're your own person. You can do whatever you want to do. That's fine. But what it seems to me is you're very opposing to someone that may be identified as the political party that starts with a D. If that's the case, my assumption here is you need to be with Ryan from season 13. Take your stuff, take your ass and your lips, move to Houston, Texas. Go find Ryan. I forgot what Ryan's last name is. Go find Ryan from season 13. Go be with his ass. Because he's a cowboy. He loves doing all that outdoors activity shit. Maybe he'll be more up your league. Okay, because if I'm correct, Ryan identifies with a political party R. Okay, y'all seem like a match made in heaven. But I don't know if Ryan gonna find her attractive. That's the thing. You will have an ideal person, Alyssa, but I don't know if that ideal person will like you. But, Ryan, listen, the girl in Boston if you want her. Alyssa, the guy is in Houston if you want him. We're going to move on. So the mama asked her, like, is there any hope? Like, what does he need to do for you to kind of, go get with the program? So she lists, like, trust, communication, blah, blah, blah. And the mom was like, so he pretty much needs to prove himself. So Alyssa was like, yeah, and, just do better with communication. Girl, you need to do better with the communication. Pause. So we going to move on. Because Alyssa just be getting on my last nerve. We going to move on past the count. Now he's starting to have a sit down with each couple. So he starts off with Michael and Jasmina first. So they kind of sit apart on the couch with a pillow in between them. So I'm like, oh yeah, that says a lot about your relationship right now. And Pastor Kyle just asked them, like, so what do you guys need to work on? She tells them that Michael blows up and he yells, Michael says that he doesn't yell. And Jasmina's looking at him like, yes, the hell you do. Michael's like, listen, if you want to say that he's condescending, talks condescending, yes, he'll give her that. If she wants to say that he talks in a harsh tone, he'll give her that. But as far as yelling, he doesn't do that. So he thinks that, he hates the fact that it was like a lose-lose situation, because not telling her would have been bad, but the fact that he told her is like she's using that against him and painting this bad picture of him, and like always having that in her head of what he told her that he needs to work on, because he told her he needs to work on the way he talks to people. And Jasmina and Michael just keep going back and forth. And I didn't like the way Jasmina talked to him, because she was just like, Michael, we're not going to do this right now. Like, I forgot what she said word for word, but the way she talked to him, I did not like whatsoever. She was belittling him, talking to him like he was a little kid. I did not like that at all. I'm like, Jasmina, you got to learn the way you talk to people too. Learn how to communicate. And I wish Pastor Kyle would have let her know, because to me, I'm just like, now, Michael, we're not going to do this, right? Like, he ain't 5, girl. That's your husband. Treat him like one. And Michael, she's your wife. You better talk to her correct. Listen, I see both sides of the situation. Both y'all in the wrong. So, goes to commercial for dramatic effect, of course. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And they kind of still going back and forth. Pastor Kyle wanted to say something, but he stopped. Pastor Kyle said, sorry to interrupt, but he wasn't yelling. So, pretty much, Pastor Kyle had to tell them to stop talking, and he's going to be the one talking now. Okay, Pastor Kyle put his little foot down. Okay, all right, that's nice. And he says that Jasmina needs to work on forgiving and moving forward with the relationship. Didn't say that word for word, I'm just paraphrasing. And tells Michael, listen, you need to learn how to talk to people, and this is your wife. You need to learn how to talk to your wife. And give Jasmine a little homework of, listen, if he starts getting to the point where he's talking all type of craziness to you, you need to tell him, like, listen, I'm not your enemy. And he looks at Michael, you heard that? So Michael was just like, all right, I got you. I got you, boss. I got you. So we won't see if that really happens. I don't know, because these two are so on their side, like they're not trying to compromise or give in at all. All right, we're going to move on to the next chocolate couple. Pastor Cal sits with Elijah and Katina. I don't know if Pastor Cal said, oh, it smelled good in here when he walked in or whatnot, but Katina let him know, listen, I made spaghetti and garlic bread, which was a requirement from Elijah. I'm like, oh, a requirement. Huh, Elijah? So was it a requirement for her to cook, or did you also require her of what to cook? Either way, Elijah, if you don't get your ass in there and cook you something, you ain't gonna tell me to cook. Listen, I love to cook. Okay, if I was a stay-at-home wife, I'd cook for my husband every day. That is not the case. There are some days that I don't want to cook. Okay? Sometimes I be tired from work. I be mentally exhausted. I don't want to cook. And you know what? I ain't gonna cook. We're gonna find out something to eat, and which we always do. But Elijah you wanted her to cook, and from what, because Pastor Kyle was like, oh, let's just get right into this right here, right there. We're going to talk about this right first thing. You want your wife to be barefoot and pregnant? And here go Elijah was just like, first he was trying to say, well, yeah, listen, she's my wife. She got to cook and all this stuff. And Pastor Kyle was like, well, you never told us that it was like a deal breaker in the matchmaking process. So then I guess that's when Elijah wants to backtrack, saying, well, nah, you know what I'm saying, man, I ain't trying to say, she got to cook every day. I told her, I'm going to cook sometimes too. I'll go make some breakfast and stuff. I'm a simple man. I like, sometimes peanut butter and jelly, I'm good to go, man. But, sometimes, I got a wife now, man. It's different. She got to cook for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, first of all, Elijah, calm it down. Tone it down. It's not just relax, guy. No, it's still no. It's still a no for me. Pastor Kyle asked Katina if she feel like she's being heard, because he feel like Elijah does a lot of the talking. Katina just sits down, being quiet. Katina thinks to herself and she's like, yes. Now, he needs to learn how he talks to me, but for the most part, she feels like she is getting heard. So Pastor Guy was like, okay. Have they consummated the marriage yet? And they said no. So I guess Katina's ready to jump bones, but Elijah isn't ready because he's always thinking negative about what if it doesn't work. So Pastor Gal lets him know, like, listen, you can't be thinking negative, what if it doesn't work? Because then you might speak that into existence for the most part. Not what he said word for word, I'm just paraphrasing. But Elijah was just like, yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm like, Elijah is so animated with everything. Like, but I hope he's really listening to what Pastor Cal had to say. But Pastor Cal was like, listen, you guys are married. Do what married people do. I grant you the permission by the power vested in me. I grant you, Elijah and Katina, to do what married folks do. To be married. And the way he was talking, when he said to be, I thought he was going to be like, beat that pussy up. I thought he was going to say that. I really thought he was going to say that. But he didn't say that. But he grants him the permission to have sex. And, they laughing and joking and stuff. And I'm just like, Elijah, that is interesting, though. That you want her to do all this stuff. But you still kind of nervous of having sex. So, listen, to me, I'm just like, does that mean you're not good in bed or something? Because it's giving me very nervous for her to see what you got going on in the bedroom. Because you ain't got much going on in the bedroom. No motion in the ocean or nothing. I don't know. The dirty draws to me already turned me off. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, girl. Katina, that's your husband. You're going to figure that out. All right, we're going to move on to Lindsay and Mark. And Lindsay tells Mark how she's been feeling and how he's been acting 2 different ways on a camera and off camera. And Mark disagrees. And I guess Lindsay's just getting frustrated with him. I forgot what he done said, but she got ticked off. She's like, I just need Pastor Cal right now. She's like, I can't even do this. Like, I can't even talk right now. And Mark's just looking at her like, oh, okay. Like, do you want to leave? And Lindsay was like, no, I just need you to leave. I just need you to, I don't want to talk to you. Just don't talk to me. So Mark was like, all right, bet. And he walks off. What I'm seeing from Mark from episode 1 to episode 7, I feel like there is a sort of disconnect. I do feel like he is pulling away, and he seemed just so more vibrant and happy and excited in episode 1. Now I feel like he's kind of like, not in a dark place, but I do feel like he's definitely not the Mark the Shark that I seen on episode 1. Granted, he's going through a lot with his grandma, obviously still his mom, with the whole landlord situation, the bed bugs, and now being married to kind of psychotic, crazy ass bitch. Lindsay's cool, but she crazy too. He's probably just all over the place, don't know what to do, what to think, and doesn't have the time to himself anymore that he can just like get his thoughts together. So I do kind of see Mark slipping into a sadness zone, depression zone. So that kind of worries me. But at the same time, for someone like Lindsay, who's always like on a happy streak, I also feel like she's kind of looking at him like, ooh, you acting crazy. I know you're stressed, but don't treat me some type of way. So they're going to talk about it with Pastor Cal in a couple scenes later. But we're going to move on to Pastor Cal sitting with Steve and Noy's My Way to Highway ass. So they get into talking about the kids first. And we're sitting with Steve, Noy, and Noy's dog. And Noy said, that the number of kids that they want is different. And Pastor Kyle was like, all right, let's dive into this. Noy doesn't want to compromise on having less than 3 kids. I guess Steve's point of view is he can see 2 right now, and depending, it may be 3, but he's kind of sticking to 2 because you never know, what if one of them has special needs to the point where it'll cause enough energy for 3 kids where they don't really need a 3rd kid. Noy doesn't really see it like that. She wants her 3 kids and that's it. And I'm just like, why is it so important for you to have 3 kids? Pastor Cal asked her that question. She explains, listen, her parents had 3 kids. Everybody in her family, like cousins and stuff, they have 3 kids. So I guess she wants to be on the bandwagon of having 3 kids. And I'm just, in my head, I'm just like, if that's your only reason for having 3 kids, like, girl, no. Because at the end of the day, it's not just you. Like, I hate all these people coming into these relationships on these shows. Like, okay, we gonna need to have this and that's it. And if that don't happen, then no. Me, and my husband discuss. Like, I'm like, oh, I would like to have 3 kids. I wouldn't mind having 3 kids. He's just kind of like, ooh, I don't know. That 3 is a little too much. Maybe 1 or 2, but 3, I don't know. So for me, I'm kind of like, it's not a deal breaker if we don't have 3 kids, but I'm just kind of like, I wouldn't mind having 3 kids. But also, it just depends on the circumstances. You know, depends after 1 or after 2. And I told him low key, I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, if I were to have twins and one was a boy, one was a girl, I'll probably be good. I'll be done. So it's not really about what you want, because you can always think about what you want, what your ideal relationship and having kids and stuff will be like. But reality and what you ideal are 2 completely different things. So, like Pastor Kyle said, what if it's hard to have a kid? What if it's 1 and that's all you can have? What if you can't have no kids? So, Noy, I really want you to think about, it's not just you. It's not just the Noy show. It's not the Noy or the Noisy show. It's the Steve and Noy and Steve, however you want to put it. It's y'all show together, because you guys are a couple. You guys are married. It's not just you. Because if you just want it to be you, Noy, and what you want, Noy's way or the highway, you could get your ass going to the sperm bank, donor, a clinic thing, getting pregnant every year by the same sperm donor, so all your kids can look alike, and be by yourself with your dog, and all the kids and the dog can sleep in the bed with you by yourself. I'll wait for you to make that decision, Noy, if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't be coming here with someone else in a whole ass relationship, in a marriage, where the guy can't say what he, like, come on. All right. And we're going to move on to the whole financial situation. Now, like I said, I'm surprised Steve got his own place, but listen, he got his own place. He could pay his own bills. He does freelance. So I guess he does like 3 different types of jobs on freelancing.com and makes money. Noy is concerned because of her past. She cries about this too. Just growing up poor, she doesn't ever want to be put back in that position. So that's why security is very important for her. And Pastor Cal tells her, explain it to Steve. So she looks at Steve and explains that, it's very, a big thing for her to have money and make sure her kids never have to want for money or need for money. So Steve can understand where Noy's coming from and what she needs, but he doesn't know if he's willing to get a full-time job and loses his creativity to do that. So my thing is like, it just depends, Steve. I'm not saying you have to have a full-time job. Even my husband had to kind of correct me, because in my past episodes, my past reviews, I was just like, Steve, no jobs, you know what I'm saying? But my husband did make it known to me. He did check me a little bit. Was like, listen, if he's making substantial enough money where he can afford his own place and all that stuff and still make a living, it's not like he broke, So if he's making good enough money where he don't need a full-time job, then that should be fine too. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm just hoping he makes a good enough money, especially if he wants kids. She won't need security. So when the kids come, you're going to need you can't just be taking all these damn trips. I mean, technically you can, but if you want to be there for the kids, come on, bro. So I guess that's for them to figure out, not for me to worry about. So we're going to move back to Mark and Lindsay. So now, Pastor Kyle comes to visit Mark and Lindsay. Lindsay's outside on the balcony, sitting on the floor doing her little Zen meditation thing, because Mark pissing her off and knowing her to hell. So they sit down to talk, but before they sit down, Lindsay was like, hold on, let me get this glass of wine first, because we're about to talk about some serious stuff, so I can't zeal. So they sit down to talk with Lindsay with her big ass glass of wine, and they just get right into it. Lindsay doesn't think Mark is giving the best version of himself, and she starts crying, saying that they were all lovey-dovey before, but now Mark has pulled back, and she's so pissed and so angry, like she wants to get up and walk away right then and there because she just can't even deal with this situation. So Pastor Cal looks at Mark and is like, oh, are you scared? He says Mark must be scared. So Mark explains his side. He's like, Lindsay is just a lot. Not that it's a bad thing, but just for him, they go about dealing with situations two different ways. So the way that Lindsay would deal with the situation, Mark is not doesn't deal with the situation that way. He kind of deals with it probably the opposite way. So with everything he got going on, it's just a lot. And he cries and saying that Lindsay pokes him and he doesn't do that to her. And Pascal was like, do you understand what he's trying to say, Lindsay? So she kind of delusional and talking about she doesn't know what he's saying, understand what he's saying. It's kind of just like rambling, like doo-doo shit. She didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. Goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And Pastor Kyle explains to them why Mark and Lindsay were matched. And pretty much they're two, what is the word he used? They're two people that are a lot pretty much. So he explains to Lindsay, we couldn't match you with someone that was like shy and weak because you would run all over them. Same thing for you, Mark. That's why we paired you guys together, because you guys need each other, because you guys both match each other's levels. So I guess they kind of understood that, and Pascal tells Lindsay, listen, you need to pull back a little bit and give yourself to Mark in doses. And so I guess that's what Mark needs from her. Then Pascal asks Lindsay what does she need from Mark, and she's just like, she needs him to put gas in his tank. Now, when she first said this, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of confused. I'm like, don't tell me you paying the niggas, you filling up the nigga's gas tank of his car. No, she was just using that as an analogy. I picked up real quick, I picked up quick. She said she just needs him to put more effort in, don't be putting 1%. That Chris be requiring of Alyssa's ass. Like, she needs him to really be in this. So I guess he kind of agrees to that, kind of, sort of, whatever. And that's with them. Now we get to Chris and Alyssa on her lips. So they meet up. No, Chris is already in the apartment. Alyssa goes to see him in the apartment, meets up with him. Pastor Cal comes not too long later. They sit down and talk. Chris said he wants to make that clear. He thinks that Alyssa's just checked out. And Alyssa told Pastor Cal that Chris isn't her physical type, but she tried to push through with the wedding. She stayed and did the wedding and all that, but it wasn't until Chris's friends told her about how Chris is that she kind of just like, she doesn't know if this is really for her. But she wants to try, and she sees glimmers of hope in them, like when they went paddleboarding. And I'm just like, pause right there, Alyssa, because if I remember correctly, when he was crying to the damn producers when he was eating fucking lunch, you was like, you don't want to be next to him. That's why you like did the activity with him in paddleboarding, because that's the furthest you could be away, like as far away from him while doing the activity. And like, you're just such a good person. Girl, bye. Don't even, no. You've been saying off the wall shit. No. So, excuse me. I keep burping. I'm so sorry. But Pastor Cal calls the BS. He's like, he ain't believing shit she's saying. He done took his glasses off like about 5, 10, 50 million times at this point. And I forgot who he asked Alyssa, but she makes excuses of why. Oh, because he asked her about why she not staying at the apartment then, if she sees glimmers of hope. So she makes excuses of why they can't stay together. She says, they got 2 big dogs. Now, we did see Chris's dog. Dog was it was a little bit big. It was a large dog. I'm not going to lie. But the second reason, this bitch said she allergic to dogs. And I'm just like, whoa, wait, Lisa, what the? Because then she wanted to clean it up, saying, it took her a while to get her immune system to get recognized with her own dog that she got living in her house. Because Chris was looking at her like, girl, don't even be lying to me like that. She's like, no, it's true. I was allergic to my dog, but I've learned to accommodate my immune system to my dog. She didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. But I'm just like, I could have sworn in the first episode, Alyssa, you said you was a dog rescuer. That you rescue dogs and shit. So you're around a lot of fucking dogs. So you allergic and that's what you do for a living? Granted, I know people who be allergic to animals that be still having. I have a friend. They got like 3-4 cats. The mom is allergic to cats, but she loves on those cats like ain't no tomorrow. So I know there are people like that, but for the most part, I doubt if you were allergic to dogs, you'd be a freaking dog rescuer. Alyssa, stop playing in our faces. Stop being stupid. Stop being dumb. Like we can't backtrack on what you done said the first fucking girl. Bye. Girl, bye. So she made that excuse, and then I forgot what Chris said, but she's like, "Oh, but your dog has like hair and all that." Girl, Alyssa, please cut the BS. Please cut the BS. So, Alyssa keep talking about she want to move forward and shit. I'm like, girl, ain't no moving forward from this. Chris said, I'm done. I had it. Today is his decision day. And it goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Now, before it comes back from commercial, I'm just like, Chris, you could either be saying one or two things. One, you could be saying, you know what? I choose to stay in this marriage. I want to continue this. Or you could be saying, I'm done with this crazy asshole. I want a divorce. And I'm like, you better say you want a divorce, Chris, because if you come back on here, talk about you want to move forward with her, I'm going to lose my shit. Now, I have seen some spoilers from a mass fan on Instagram. But she lied. She lied, y'all. She didn't lie, but she kind of got it I'm not going to put a spoiler out there, but I'm just saying, like, she did say we wasn't going to be seeing too much more of them. But I didn't know it was going to take this damn long. So we came back from commercial break, and Chris said he wanted a divorce. If I was sitting down. I was on the recliner. But if I was sitting down, I would have put my hands in the air. I would have went on my knees, and I would have said, hallelujah, thank you, Lord, thank you, Jesus. We don't need to see y'all no more. We don't need to see Alyssa and her lips no more. Chris, I wish you the best. But fuck Alyssa and her lips and her allergic reaction to dogs that she just made up in her mind. So he said he wanted a divorce. Of course, Alyssa don't cry. I don't know for why, because she not going to be on TV no more, maybe. And she talking about, I've worked so hard to get here, and I never thought this would happen. So Chris said he don't want to chase someone that don't want him to chase them. And in that moment, it pans to Alyssa, and like I see her little eye twitch, and I'm like, girl, you better not be getting mad, because there's no reason for you to be getting mad at all at this point in time. So Alyssa lets us know that if she could have left, but she didn't. So she's still here. And Chris was like, yeah, she's still here, but not because of marriage. So she gets triggered, and she's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. The tears done dried up real quick. This is what I'm talking about. When you say things like that, it triggers me. Oh, well, bitch, you're gone. You're done. Bye. There's a door. Okay, I don't care. So, Pascal was like, well, we really didn't want this guy. Pascal, enough. He wanted to get your ass up and go. Pascal, I don't got nothing wrong with you. We don't got no beef. But at the same time, Pascal, you making we didn't want, y'all didn't want this to happen. You guys thought this was a good match. Pascal, you could leave. You could get off my screen for tonight. I don't need to see you no more. So he gets him to leave. Alyssa puts her keys on the Eileen sheet. Chris wishes her well and wishes her the best of luck. She don't say shit. Goes outside. Comes back, was like, oh, I forgot my phone. Chris gives it to her. She goes outside again. Talk to the camera, producers and shit. She crying and shit. And what she said, excuse me, she says she just wants respect. And she leaves off with the fact that she's such a good person. And I'm like, girl, take your short overalls and get the F off my screen forever. For the rest of life. I don't need to see you no more. That's it. That's it. Um, and Chris, we end off with Chris leaving his keys on the island, taking off his ring, leaving it on the island to him, and walking away. And that is where the episode ends, guys. I'm just like, way to end off an episode, Lifetime. Thank you. Thank you for ridding us of the foolishness, the craziness, the annoyance of having Alyssa and her lips on our TV screens every Wednesday night. I'm glad it's over between them. I hope I don't see Alyssa until freaking reunion. And I'm only saying that because I know they're probably going to bring her back because we got to see what she's been up to. But I could care less, really. But, hopefully she found Ryan and they became a couple, whatever. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you thought because now we actually got something to talk about, And I'm going to see you guys next week for an Alyssa and her lips free episode. Hopefully, fingers crossed, of Married at First Sight. Bye.